Welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. Joined by my co-host, Kim Barrett. How you doing, KB?
I'm doing great, Gene. How you doing?
Good, man. So, the Bucks had a game on Sunday. I don't know if you heard about it or not. Yeah,
Was against the
played
number one offense, right? that one quarterback.
discount double check.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He must have won by 4 touchdowns, right? Because Brady can't count that high.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least that's what one of his teammates had made mention of.
Yeah.
So this game was a game, and I'm going to go on record saying I didn't think the Bucks were going to win this game based on how Green Bay played, based on how the Tampa Bay Bucs played in the Chicago game, and it's kind of stuck in my head. And I think this is going to take some getting used to, but you got Tom Brady under center. Okay. So you may have that bad game, but it's not going to be a continuous bad game here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, when we watched that game, and let's start with the first quarter. What were your thoughts? I mean, when you're watching this game in the first quarter, man, you're sitting here and you're like, what in the hell just happened here?
I was kind of, counting down. If you follow me on Twitter, I was basically calling for Goodwin the entire first quarter to just storm into the press box and take over play calling. But it was an abysmal first drive, and then the second drive they start getting some momentum. But then the quarter's ending, so I'm like, okay, great. They're just going to run it 3 times and then punt it, which is essentially kind of what they did. They just didn't convert on third down, but. The first quarter and 2 minutes, just depressed the living crap out of me, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and you can't help but feel that way. And again, that's like PTSD because you're thinking, you know what popped into my head was the 2017 Bucks.
Yeah,
with fat ass Chris Baker and all them clowns out there that were the underachievers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, here we go again. So. For me, I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay, let me just keep watching the game. Let me see what happens here. So, I'm watching the game. And the one thing that didn't stand out to me until I went back and watched the all 22 was there were no penalties in that first quarter. And it was 0. And it was just, and I want to say it was the play calling, which I'm still not 100% comfortable with the play calling. This is going to have to be something. And again, I'll apologize for this, just like I did saying the Bucks. I didn't think the Bucks were going to win this game. But when you get consistent play calling and you see what this team is capable of doing, man, I'm telling you what, Chris Godwin coming back was a shot in the arm that this offense kind of needed, to get this team jump started. But, going into the second quarter, you see this pick 6. And who would have saw that coming? I mean, just the way that whole thing played out. And I went back and I'm watching the film, and you know what? The defense was like, I don't know if they were testing them or what the deal was, but they were getting close, but they weren't getting home.
Yeah.
So, it's just you're continuously seeing this over and over and over again. And then you get another pick 6. And at this point, I tell you what, Aaron Rodgers is not cool anymore. I've been calling him Joe Cool all this time, but after that second pick 6, he was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Well, Twitter blew up when he did that Key and Peele celebration. So the fact that he did a complete 180 Jameis style in 2 drives is kind of hilarious to me.
But I'm going to tell you, and I think I'm fair saying this. I think the majority of Twitter didn't know what the hell that was. I happen to watch Keenan and Peele, so I knew what it was when he did it, and I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, that's original. I've never seen anything. I wasn't offended by it. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. And then here you go. And then they just start rattling him, and then they just start hitting him, and it just was all downhill from there. So what is your take? I want to get your take on that first half.
Oh, I'll give all credit to Todd Bowles. In the first 2 drives for the Packers, the more you sit down and watch it, it's Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, getting outside of the pocket, getting away from pressure, and the receivers getting open, and whether it be zone or man, they're able to find their way open. But Todd Bowles was still dialing up, good pressure. But you just can't, sometimes control Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's just is what it is. But whatever he turned on in the second quarter on, basically, Aaron Rodgers basically couldn't get out of the pocket at all.
No.
Like, he just could not run to either side. And if he did, Levante was there, Devin White was there, JPP was there. No sign of Shaq Barrett, really, but everyone else pretty much came up to play on the defense.
Yeah. And again, I want to get to Shaq Barrett here as well, towards the end of the show, because I think he's been talked about unfairly, by Bucs social media, but I'll get to that later on. The one thing that stuck out to me was the coverage. The coverage is what made the blitzes work, because he couldn't get the ball out quick, number one, because everybody was covered. And I don't want to hear about injuries or nothing like that, because everybody on that injury report that I read prior to the game on Sunday was coming off of injuries, and they were healthy and they were ready to play. So what they did, what the Bucs did, they did against a team that had their full complement of players, a 4-0 team that had their full complement of players. This wasn't like they were going out and they were beating a wounded team. This was a team that they beat the brakes off of people, so far this year, but they ran into a Bucs team that just was like, oh, we wanted more. And one of the guys I want to shout out, Ndamukong Suh, because Jesus Christ, Ndamukong Suh, I guess there was a thing where he didn't practice today, and they said it was personal. He's probably moving all his furniture inside of Aaron Rodgers' head, because that's where he's living at right now, because that dude was up there. And I tell you what, I never see Aaron Rodgers jaw back and forth with anybody too much, but man, Suh was on him. Suh was in his face.
Oh, it was Warren Sapp and Brett Favre all over again. It was what I thought. What Suh's done this season was what I thought he was going to do last year. And I'm just so happy to see him being the disruptive force that he is, especially when Vita Vea has been out, because this is the best football he's played in a long time.
Absolutely. And you got to kind of step your game up here. I'm going to jump over here to the chat, because I want to make sure I shout out everybody. Frank G, who was first in the chat. What's up, Frank G? Rarely Even, longtime listener. David Villanueva. XLU Garvey. What's going on? Zach Jarvis. And Andy Finley coming in here from Scotland. What's going on, man? And guys, I'm gonna get to your comments here, but this was like one of the first complete games I've seen from the Bucs in a long, long time. And I really can't put what we saw on Sunday versus anything else that I've seen.
To me, it's the Super Bowl win, and people are gonna blow that out of complete proportion, which I tweeted that, and some people did. Granted, most of those people were James stands. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
No. I was just gonna say this has to be consistent. I love this game. This was a great game. This was a gem if you're a Bucs fan. This game was a gem.
That's the dream, man. Yeah. Have the team play, granted, a full 3 quarters. We won't call it a fourth quarter, but we'll call it 3 quarters of perfection. It was the Chargers game, but building upon that for one more quarter. I can't wait to see if this team, let's say, played the Chiefs for a full 4 quarters the way that they played. What would the NFL media do if that happened?
Oh, they would, they're eventually they would find excuses. I told you, man, I've given up on the ESPNs, the CBS, Fox Sports, NFL Network. I'll watch them when I have to, or if there's something on that I want to see. But when it comes to getting news about the teams, I'm going to go to the podcast. I'm going to go to local media and that kind of thing. So
Did you see that Michael Strahan can't pronounce Levante David?
Yeah. It was at halftime, wasn't it?
Yeah. That
made
me want to throw up, man. How long? He's a defensive player, covering for Fox, which the NFC is Fox's network.
This just goes back to show you what I'm talking about. They don't care about small market teams. Levante David, and I'm glad you brought him up. Levante David has been balling out of his mind, and I can't say this is anything new. This man has been doing this since he's been in Tampa, and other people are just now figuring it out. I had a guy stop me, and he's like, oh, I know who Lavonte David is now. And I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you, this guy's the real deal. And I honestly believe if the Bucs were winning, he would have been a household name a lot sooner. And it's been kind of a disservice to what Lavonte David has done, what he's really meant to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since he's been here. And I am just so glad. I mean, you think about Mason Foster when Mason Foster was your starter. And then, all of a sudden you got Lavonte David coming in here, and then it just snowballed from there. And this guy has never relinquished that. And I put his statistics up against like Luke Kuechly's even. And a lot of people ain't gonna like to hear that, but if you look at what he's done and you compare it, they're real close to each other.
Oh, for sure. And then if you want to take one step further, if you don't want to put Kuechly in his own little class, which is great. Like, I love Luke Kuechly. He's one of the best like film watches you could ever see. But even just stay in the NFC, Bobby Wagner drafted in the same draft class as both Lavonte David and Luke Kuechly. Lavonte's numbers are far beyond better than anything Bobby Wagner's put together in their career. And he's still the one who's first team all pro, first selection of the Pro Bowl. Like, he gets all that hype. And Lavonte, yeah, he won the NFC Defensive Player of the Month, but what other award has he ever really won? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's like nobody knew who he was because of where he was. And that plays a huge part in this. And like I said, I mean, you have to really, this is one of those things you have to acknowledge that. I've heard people taking shots at Devin White, saying Devin White has been MIA. But again, when you look at his body of work this year, he's been consistent. He's been playing. And, they unleashed him this week, and he did what, we knew that Devin White can do from what we saw from him last year. So shout out to him. Rarely Even stole my thunder here, talking about shout out to Ryan Suckup. That was a guy, because I do want to talk about the kicker. I've been accused of never talking about the kicker by a certain person whose name will not be named on this show because he's banned. But I'm telling you, Ryan Suckup has totally changed my mind. I wasn't real thrilled with him coming in here. I was like, whatever. I don't really care. We're going to continue to have kicking problems. But this guy has really shored up the kicking game, and it's something Bucs fans aren't really thinking about. You're not like holding your breath and holding your chair and just hoping that he makes it. This guy's been consistent with what he's done.
Yeah, and if you just look at that 50-yard field goal that he made, I said bend it like Suckup, because that guy knew what he was doing there. That's something I guess other kickers who kick for Tampa haven't figured out. It was in that south end zone. That's apparently very windy, and a lot of kickers have struggled, whether it be for us or for other teams, just on that side of the field. And he somehow, I guess, he's figured it out. And I want to knock on wood, but if he can continue being consistent, from 50 in, like, yeah, that's all we need.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's gonna, that takes the stress off of a lot of other things, and it helps you to really game plan, and you can play, you can really scheme like you want to, because you're not worried about your kicker. That you have somebody who's considered a competent kicker. So, let's see here. Lavonte David, Rarely Even was saying Lavonte made a seamless transition from 4-3 outside linebacker to 3-4 inside linebacker without missing a beat. You damn right he did, man. That is just, and that's something, again, that's something else that doesn't even get mentioned, is that transition that was made here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to break down the schematics, it's a very similar position that he was playing as a weak side linebacker, and the way that they have it configured. Devin White's typically the Mike linebacker. He's still the number one middle linebacker who's going against guards, and Lavonte's cleaning up messes, but he still has to be sideline to sideline. He's the most important player of that defense.
Man, and we saw a lot of the sideline to sideline from Lavonte. I have to go back to him. There were running backs that did not see him coming, and he's running along the line and meeting at the point of attack, and he's just taking out running backs like it's just nothing. And this team, I've never, you kind of saw it last year, but they're clean tackling. I don't know if you can go back to like I'd say 2016, 2017, 2018, when poor tackling. The running back you could have somebody dead to rights 5 yards behind the line, and they can't close it up. They can't clean up the messes. We're not seeing that right now. You're seeing a defense where everybody is swarming to the ball. They're making these tackles. They're wrapping up. They're getting big hits. And was that Carlton Davis that got the hit that jarred the ball loose on the sidelines? I think it was Carlton Davis.
Okay. I don't remember the play exactly.
But again, so they're getting these big hits. Well, it was supposed to be a completion, and Bruce Arians challenged the play.
Oh, that was Carlton Davis.
Yeah, that was Carlton Davis. That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking of the Antoine Winfield upending.
That was pretty good too. But just what these players are doing, and they're playing aggressive, and they're not playing timid and back on their heels. This is the game against the Green Bay Packers I expected to see against the Chicago Bears, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, and I wish they came out and played like against the Bears.
And again, I'm hoping that this is something you build off of and you just continue to see it.
Yeah, and they just put their foot on the throat the entire, ever since they got that 14-10 lead. Like, I just kept waiting for the collapse, and it never happened. Like, part of me was just like, okay, after the half, we were up by 18 points. Like, okay, it's Aaron Rodgers. Something's gonna happen. Like, they're gonna at least make it somewhat competitive. No,
and then him and Sue are going back and forth, and Sue was in his face, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's gonna come out here. You're not gonna do Joe Cool like that. And he came out there and they didn't score again.
Nope.
So there is that.
I do have one question for you. I'm trying to find it in the chat. I saw it earlier. What do you think about the possibility of losing Todd Bowles to a head coaching position?
That's tough.
I'm trying to find who said it. Someone said it.
Oh, Rarely Even. I got it up on the screen.
Rarely Even.
Yeah. You know what? That's something I don't really think about too much right now because, they're still playing and we've still got a lot of football to play. I would hope that Todd Bowles would not just jump at the first opportunity to be a head coach. We saw how that worked out with the Jets organization, which is absolute hot garbage. Just the way they handle business. And we've seen that from, we've seen that for years now. Just they have not been able to get their act together, whether it's the GM, whether it's the head coach, whether it's the head coach and the GM. You get good personnel in there. Like Le'Veon Bell has looked pedestrian since he's been with the Jets. And
it's the Adam Gase factor, man. As soon as they come in and when they leave, it's night and day.
Yeah. And that just kind of gives you a overview of what we're talking about here. Because Le'Veon Bell was one of the more coveted free agents that was out there and available. And then you go to the Jets and crickets, man. It's like night and day. So it's almost like he took a couple of years off, man, and he's back and, he's doing his thing now. But now he is a starter for the world championship, Kansas City Chiefs.
About to be former.
Yeah. Well, they still have till the end of the year. So, you got to give them their props there.
True that.
But it's gonna be really interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, I brought it up because I actually heard Jake Arians recently speak on this subject on a podcast, and he was basically just laying it out that he doesn't think Todd Bowles will at least jump ship for an opportunity because he obviously got screwed over with the Jets, and so I'm hoping he's the heir apparent, as Zach Jarvis is pointing out in the chat now. So, I mean, that's the hope right now. I'd rather give him the keys than like a Byron Leftwich or anyone else outside the organization. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, as somebody who's played the game, what do you think of what Byron Leftwich is doing? Do you think this is more Tom Brady or do you think this is more Byron Leftwich, what we're seeing that's successfully working for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Or is this a combination?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's probably a combination, but I'm also leaning towards Leftwich because, I mean, Tom Brady has a resume. Tom Brady has an offense we know that works for him. And we've seen what Byron's done both with Tom Brady and Jameis. And you can just tell that something's just not there. And whether that might even be BA and Leftwich because he might need help, putting the game plan together because BA is, pretty hands off. But I
Right.
mean, it is his offense. He's the one who looks good or bad at the end of the day. So
100%.
yeah, I'm probably like 60-40, 70-30 Leftwich to Brady, maybe.
Yeah. And again, Brady has shown, you kind of lost some athleticism with Jameis Winston going. But when you look at the overall quarterback play, what Tom Brady brings to this team is there are intangibles, and there are just things that you really can't put your finger on, but you know that this is the Tom Brady effect. And I strongly believe that is a real thing.
Oh yeah, and his touch on deep balls is just fantastic. Like Jameis obviously had like a live arm, and he actually
Yeah.
throws the deep ball pretty well.
Yeah, it's
but there
nice,
isn't just that touch. It's
yeah.
inconsistent, and that's the difference. Is that little bit of an overthrow, that little bit of an underthrow.
And you saw that and I don't know if you remember when they had the whole Fitzmagic thing started here in Tampa. He was putting touch on the ball. He hit Deshaun Jackson on a pass on a go route. It was a 9 route. Hit him in stride, and he just kind of walks into the end zone. And that's what I'm like, man, that's what this kid is missing. He's missing that touch on the ball. It's just not really 100% getting there. And then, you've got Tom Brady here, and I've seen some of his passes have been kind of errant. And I think that's a lot of that is still getting used to the personnel that he has. But when he's getting out there and he's putting the ball where he needs to, I mean, man, tell me you haven't seen a prettier ball sometimes that he's throwing that. I mean, he's hitting people.
That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm real happy with how, I'm happy to have Tom Brady here. Like I said, in the beginning of the season, everybody knew I was like, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. I like what I've seen, and I'm good with it. I just hope hopefully they keep him up.
Rosen, I'm just following this guy around everywhere he goes. I am begging BA to go on road trips. I will wear a mask. Hell, I will wear a quarantine, suit.
the
just so I can
suit.
be hazmat suit, just so I can hang out with Tom Brady and just follow him like a little puppy.
Yeah. Rarely even he's in here. He's really lighting it up here.
Yeah.
He's talking about Gronk, and that was the next guy I wanted to talk about. Gronk, and again, I've gone on record saying I could take it or leave it if Gronk came to Tampa, but now that he's kind of getting more into football shape and what he's doing, he's becoming quite the weapon. I mean, not just blocking, but actually offensively, getting his hands on the ball and making these catches and moving the chains. Man, I'm excited about him, and hopefully he could stay healthy and continue to do that.
Oh yeah, his blocking's superb, and I think second half Gronk from the Packers game was at least a Gronk from like 2 or 3 years ago. And that's what I'm hoping whatever it was physically, mentally, whatever it is, I'm hoping he's there. And we can at least see a little bit more of that as the season continues.
Yeah. And rarely even again, Mike Evans might not hit 1,000. I don't think he is.
If he doesn't, we should have probably a pretty good season that he'll let it slide. I mean, he's tied with Brady Moss.
If the Bucs are going to the playoffs, if the Bucs are going deep into the playoffs, the Bucs are going to the Super Bowl, who cares if he doesn't get 1,000? Those are nice individual stats. And, Mike Evans has broken arguably the majority of the important passing or receiving records in Bucs history. I mean, he's done so much in his limited time here, and he's one of those guys, man. He's going to be a big part of a team being successful when he's healthy. So I think, limiting his snaps and, I understand they're not targeting him, but, if they're still winning games, that's what's important, is those wins and losses over individual stats.
Oh yeah. If you're beating the Packers by 4 touchdowns and you have like 30 yards receiving, do you really care?
No.
He's gotten paid. What has 6 1,000-yard seasons gotten him so far in his career? 5 wins?
Yep, it ain't got him to the playoffs yet, so
nope.
There is that. And Dub here was saying, I think the defense continues to ball out. The door is open for Bowles to be the successor. I mean, he's shown what he can do. I mean, people have quickly bought into what he's talking about and what he's doing, and you see the core of the players from last year are very successful, and you see the players like Antoine Winfield Jr. coming in here, and they're able to just plug and play. And that's what makes this an exciting season, is because these guys have a year of this under their belt. they know what to expect going in, and they're helping everybody along. So this is again, I can't stress this enough. That's going to kind of be the theme tonight, is just how exciting, this is. And, you hope they can kind of keep this going.
Yeah, that's why we all just got to appreciate it at the end of the day and just hope that they come out against the Raiders and do the same thing. Like, that's all we can hope for is consistency, because now we know their potential.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the Steve McClendon acquisition? I know you were the one that broke it to me. I get this DM and I'm looking and I'm like, really? So I go out on there and I'm looking around. And I was like, dang, they're really going all in. I think this is a good depth piece for a already potent defensive line, just to continue to stress stopping the run, because they're going to have some good running teams as they go into the season, the rest of the season. So you have to make sure you get that short up.
Oh, yeah. I thought the timing was perfect I'm calling him Stevie M. Shout out to Stevie T. But Stevie M made his name in Pittsburgh, was a very solid run defender in a 3-4 scheme. Obviously went to the Jets with Bulls. Has still done well. He's just a little bit older.
Yeah. The Bucs 11 seasons. Was he 11 seasons in the NFL?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. He's in his 30s. And so Rick Stroud broke it. But essentially they are trading a 2022 6th-round pick for a 2023 7th-round pick in Stevie. So I think at the end of the day, it's a win-win. I think it's perfect timing against Josh Jacobs. John Gruden's going to want to establish the run. And he even drove from New York to Tampa just to take his first COVID test so he can be able to be in the building and practice on Friday so he can play Sunday. Wow.
That is legit right there, man. He's all about it. Rarely even made a good comment. He said, I understand we're winning. It would just be cool for him to break that record. Yeah, that would be a good record, man. But again, when you're talking about going to the playoffs, I mean, the Bucs haven't been in the playoffs in forever. And to me, and I've said that, you guys have listened to me. I've said this ad nauseum. I want this team in the playoffs. I want to be talking about who this team is going to face in the postseason. I don't want to be talking about the draft. That's just where I'm at with all this.
Gene, do you know how many yards you have to average over 16 games to reach 1,000 yards?
No, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Help me out here.
62. So if Mike Evans just streams together, he's already had 2 games this year of over 100 yards and a couple duds thrown in there. If he just has a couple more outbursts, there's still a chance he's going to reach 1,000 yards. Every competent receiver in today's NFL reaches 1,000 yards. So it's still attainable. He just got to throw a couple, really good games in there, which he's obviously capable of doing.
Yep, I totally agree. Let's see. Andy was saying, I'm going to go back to what Andy, and as I said earlier, we're a mirror image of our Super Bowl winning team with a better quarterback in charge. Defense wins championships, and Brady with a decent run game, we look similar.
That's not fair to this offense to compare to that one.
You know what, Andy, I'm gonna say this, man. I'm still watching this team. I'm still waiting to see what they do. You got to string together those wins, and this game, this was a great game. They bounced back tremendously from that game against Chicago, and it's possible they have the potential to do this. And I say this again. We talked about this last week. The Bucs will be in every single game they play this year. As long as everybody's healthy, they will be in every single game they play this year. So you're right. It's possible that they can do this, but I want to see more of this. I want to see this consistently happening, and not the inconsistent play that we've seen. So this is going to be another good game against the Raiders. Great run game and decent receivers. So we'll see how this all goes.
And let's not forget that Super Bowl winning team, that defense for 4 years basically begged the offense to score double-digit points. That's how good that they were. And more times than not, when they did, they won. That defense is one of the best ever.
Give us 17 and we'll win it all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. P. Cody, what's happening? Hope you're staying healthy too, bro. Yeah, I'm social distancing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I know my man is here. KB's doing the same thing, man. We just want this whole pandemic thing to be over with, man. So we can all get back to normal and go enjoy some Bucs games. Rarely Even is on fire talking about Shady McCoy. Shady McCoy stinks. We need to get rid of him and give Vaughn his snaps. I think they need to reverse the roles, to be honest. I think, to be honest, if it were me, I'm the head coach. You can't keep feeding Shady the ball because you don't know how healthy he's going to be. I would have him on a pitch count. He's somebody that I would be I'd be very careful with in order to, try to preserve him through the season. But Vaughn, you need to see what you have with Vaughn. I think Vaughn has potential. He's shown he's got nice hands, and I think that he's going to continue to get better. He just needs to get those reps. And I think with Fournette and Shady out, I think we got a good idea of what we could potentially have with this man. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, to me, it all comes down to the role. Shady should not be on the field running 3rd and 1s. The way you Shady is just flare him out. If he's the check down, great. He's got to beat one guy. He runs side to side. You can't have him having the ball at 3rd and 1 running up the gut because he looks like Charles Sims out there.
Yeah.
He's not the Shady of old.
No, he's not. Yeah. And, he's got mentally, he knows the play that he knows what he wants to do, but his body won't let him do what he wants to do. And I saw that a couple times with a couple of runs where I'm like, dude, he looks like he's running in quicksand, but he really, that's just his body is doing as much as it can do what he knows mentally what he wants to do. So there's that. Rob G, you guys are totally still in the thunder here. Nacho had a solid game. Sue lit the fire. These guys were like some rabid Wolverines, man. As soon as they started smelling blood and they was going in, man. And I was, I can't tell you guys how excited I am just for this defense. I think they are doing what we had hoped they would do this year.
Yeah, man. And Nacho, as great as he is, and everyone's talking about, the Stevie signing, but like Nacho's still going to have a role. Both him and Will Golston will be on the field. If anything, it's just a depth signing. And Nacho's has done a fantastic job.
Yeah. And again, guys, these are things that we've talked about, and we have to keep saying this. Everybody's going to have a role. If this team is going to be successful, everybody's going to have a role in being successful. It's not going to be your starting 4, your front 7. It's going to be everybody playing a role to really put this team in a position to win. I think the one part of the game that bothered me, and it still bothers me, is the kick return, punt return.
Don't even get me started. It's one of those, I just hope they fair catch or just kneel in the end zone. Just don't even do anything, really.
Exactly.
Put Shady back there.
Yeah, you never know, man. And I think Logan, was their guy until he got hurt. And, you're making the best with this kid, but he's indecisive when he gets the ball. He doesn't.
It wasn't even Mickens. What's the Cyril Grayson? Why is he on the field? That's the guy who the ball went off his helmet. Why is this guy getting ample opportunities just because he's fast? You can have speed. It's what you do with it is what makes you valuable.
Yeah. And again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. Tom Brady likes him. Bruce Arians likes him. So there must be something about him that they feel like, when they get that chemistry down, they could probably use him. I'm not gonna sit here and bash him. Now, like Mickens, when I watch Mickens and I watch him, he's unsure if he wants to hit the hole. He's not. And if you watch other kick returners, a kick returner, he gets the ball, he surveyed the field, and he's gone. This kid, I don't know what he doesn't know where he wants to run. And then sometimes he thinks like halfway through, man, I should have not ran. And then other times he thinks, I don't know what he's thinking out there, but it's inconsistent. And he doesn't look like he knows what he wants to do. So,
yeah, part of me's missing Adam Humphries back there. Just
fair catching. Exactly. And guys, there are players out here that are injured. So, they're not 100%. Like I honestly don't believe Scotty Miller's 100%.
No, not at all. He had like 4 injuries. Like he was playing through it just to be on. Yeah,
he's just been playing. And when you're playing through injuries, that's just. Okay, did you see how Marpet structured his contract? It should have been Donovan Smith.
If you restructured Donovan Smith, you're adding more money to his future capital, which we don't want next year.
No, you leave that guy. Hey, you leave that.
Let's
You leave that
talk
alone, right
alone.
there, man. He was. I'm good with he can just the sooner he can go, the better, man.
But
It's
thanks,
kind of
Allie. Cheers for that $5 million. Whether however we use it, we'll use it whether to in the off season to help get Godwin, Barrett, or whoever,
these
or we'll
are
get another
players.
piece.
I mean, when you see this, players like Mike Evans doing this, players like Ali Marpet doing this. I mean, they want this team to win as much as the fans do. I mean, from the things that they're doing, this is really exciting to see this.
Yep.
And I think Shady is.
That's actually a good little point. I didn't really think about that.
What?
Has Cam Brate gotten a touchdown?
Yep.
Oh,
Cam Brate
okay.
has.
Oh, yeah, he did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think McCoy has. Good call, LeVon.
He dropped that. Yeah, he dropped that shit. He should have had, but he
didn't.
I
forgot. Yeah, the one game we had 3 drops.
Yeah,
we had.
Well, I wish they shouldn't have threw it at his hands. I'm guessing. I don't know. Rarely even and Dominican Sue added intensity to this team that's not been here. We're not a bunch of Boy Scouts like when the other 93 was here. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna stir contention, but I'm gonna tell you what. I am so happy they re-signed 93 and brought him here. This guy is legit. This guy, he's a dog, man. He wants to get after it. And guys, did you not? And the people, and I'm gonna get to the phones here in a minute. Did you not get hyped up when you saw Sue getting in Aaron Rodgers' face? Did you not get hyped up when you saw Sue jawing with this guy and wouldn't walk away from him when they were playing? This is what you want from your defensive line. I understand it's good to have character players. That's all good. I remember the days where that's all the Bucs wanted were character players. And yeah, okay, that works. That's cool. But you got somebody with the mentality of an Ndamukong Suh. I mean, bro, you can't ask for anything more than that, what this guy is doing. So it's going to be crazy. And let's see, what is it? Donovan Smith's money is all guaranteed. Ali Marpet's is one of our top players. I think you could walk away from Donovan Smith after next year.
100%, yes.
If
you go on forgot the salary cap sites, over the cap and all that, they'll basically show you that next year, no more guaranteed money.
That's right. Will the Brewer, what's going on? Yes, I love the game, man. That was a great game. With the exception, I had to listen to Joe Buck's stupid ass the whole game. And when that game was over, I was just like,
bitch,
did you hear what they said pregame that leaked out?
Oh yes, I heard that. Man, hopefully they
some sort of fine, punishment, apology, or something.
You know what? Hey, take that gold jacket, man, because he damn sure don't need that damn gold jacket. But yeah. I digress. Yeah. And Andy was saying our front seven needs to be as quick as Derek Carr this Sunday, as they were to Rodgers, or they could possibly get burned down the field. You know what? That's going to be another interesting thing. I mean, you look at that offensive line, the COVID line, and you heard the news. You broke that story too, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, I didn't break it, but
but to me, okay, you broke it to me. Shout out to who are we talking about? Rick Stroud break that too?
No, that was my sports update. Basically, it was from John Gruden's press conference.
Oh, okay, so what's the story on the offensive line for the Raiders then?
So their big right tackle that they got from the Patriots, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, went on the reserve COVID list. Basically, they were on their bye
that's
week,
right.
And he is possibly going to be out. He's going to at least be on it till he has multiple negative tests. And basically, he just sent the whole O-line home or at least the starting offensive line, because they were all hanging out with each other while the bye week was going on. So it was more of an exposure thing. But the potential is, unless there's an outbreak, they could be not having at least their starting right tackle. And if anyone else gets it, possibly those players too.
Wow, that's huge right there. And because you don't want them guys hanging out in the backfield. I mean, that's just not good for business right there, man. I tell you, I wouldn't want to see that. Zach Jarvis, we need the nastiness on our line, and Nacho does have it, man. He's somebody that I wasn't sure what we would see from him if he had to play significant snaps in the game, but I was happy with him. I was real happy with what he did. Another guy that nobody's talking about, and you kind of mentioned him a little bit, Will Golston. Will Golston's been balling this year.
Oh, yeah, and then
this whole year.
Yeah, no, and he's got some pass rush to him. He's the latest bloomer I've ever seen, but you got to keep in mind he didn't have his best game. In fact, I don't think he had anything really going on against the Packers, but that was a very pass-heavy offense. Will Golston against like the Raiders is going to be a very valuable player this week.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what you want. And I think if they can stop the run and make the Raiders one-dimensional, we'll be definitely be talking about that tomorrow on the show tomorrow. We'll take a long deep dive look at the Raiders versus the Bucs in Las Vegas. So we'll see how that all plays out. Let's see. Amazement 717. Yeah, Mike Evans wants to win. He doesn't care about stats. If you ask him about that 1,000 yards or record or playoff spot, he'll gladly take a playoff spot for this team. I mean, we've seen that by him, restructuring his contract and, trying to make the best of it. Well, guys, you know what? I've hogged up the show long enough. This is a fan show. Let me see what I can do about getting you guys on here. And, just let's talk about this because I definitely want to hear from you guys. I think it's something that, this is a fan show. As you can see here, 813-358-8154. Go ahead and call in. And I've got the phone. I think I do. See if I can get this phone up for somebody. Yeah, we're ready. So if you guys want to call in, once again, 813-358-8154. So as you've watched the season, we're over a quarter of the way into the season. Is there anybody that sticks out to you? Give me a couple of players that have stuck out to you that we didn't talk about at the beginning of the season that they're really making an impact now.
Rookie second-round pick, Antoine Winfield Jr. We have not said his name this entire podcast, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. But the way that man is able to be in the right position in that long, deep pass that Aaron Rodgers
we got
missed.
somebody. Hold on.
Let's hear it.
All right. You are live on Buck What You Heard. Who are we talking with? Uh-oh. Do I not have you here? Oh, they hung up. Yeah, caller, call back in if you can.
So Antoine, yeah,
I'm thinking it's probably T. Smitty calling in.
Oh, T. Smitty.
Yeah. But yeah, this was really a good game, man, and just all facets of the game except for, like I said, kick return, punt return. All right, you are live on Buck What You Heard. Who are we talking with?
Hello, this is Rob G again.
Rob G, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's going all right. How about yourself?
All right, let me get your take on the game.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember me from last week, but we discussed Jamel
absolutely.
Dean, and you told me to wait and see. And I gotta just admit that you were right, sir. You were right. But I must say that, like, another thing that I also noticed too is that from all my years, I've been a Tampa Bay Bucs fan since 2000, and from all my years of watching the Bucs defense, this has been the most complete game that I've seen in the last 20 years since at least the Super Bowl year. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, you're spot on, man. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, just the way they played the game, they were getting pressure on the quarterback. It wasn't always sacks, but they continued with the quarterback pressures. You saw Ndamukong Suh push Aaron Rodgers all the way down to the earth, to the depths of the earth, and just the way they played as a complete unit. There was not a breakdown in communication. You saw a solid play. You saw a solid play from your linebacker, your front seven. You saw a solid play from your secondary. I'm telling you what, I've just never seen Aaron Rodgers where he didn't have somewhere to get the ball off to. And you saw that just all facets of that defense, they were all working together.
And can I say one cool statistic?
Go ahead, KB.
I was going to say one really cool statistic that the people at Pro Football Focus or Pro Football, I forgot which one puts it out, but DVOA, they basically put the Bucs at the Packers game at a 97 rating out of 100, which is by far the best complete game any team has put together this season.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing. One other thing I would like to say, and I would just want to sit back and just let you all debate this between yourselves. Would you say that the Chargers game was the potential of where our offense could be, and this previous game that we just played is the potential of where our defense could be at the end of the season? And I'll just let you all talk it out.
All right, man.
I think
Thank
it's
you
an
for
easy
that.
yes, man. Can I be Max Kellerman? Can I be the hated guy? No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's
Hey,
an
man,
easy yes.
as usual, you bring up some great points. Please, hopefully you can call in next week, man. You're always welcome to call in. This is a fan show, and we want to hear from you guys. So thank you again, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah, he brings up an interesting point. That Chargers game, I think there was still some familiarity on both sides of the ball, and I feel like they were getting close because you saw a team that the way the Chargers handled them in the first half of that game, and then they fixed everything and they came back and they played the way they played. That's what you kind of expected to see. And I don't know what the letdown was in the Chicago game, but they bounced back from that, and you saw what this team could really do. I mean, when they put it all together, and I have to say, on both sides of the ball, no miscues and just the way they played, this was, like he said, this has been the most complete game that I've seen against a team like the Green Bay Packers, who, they're an undefeated team at the time. And it was just really, it was amazing to watch it. I mean, you can't stop talking about it.
No penalties, no sacks given up. Was it 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, but like 2 more that were dropped. So much pressure for days. It was just a perfect game defensively, and offensively they just did enough. But in terms of potential, we're talking about the Chargers game. Remember, Chris Godwin didn't even play in that game.
Exactly.
Mike Evans got hurt in the first quarter, and yet they still did what they did. So the sky's the limit for this team, and that's why I think we're all so excited.
Yeah, you can't help but be excited. And the emergence of Rob Gronkowski, who, every time somebody would mention his name, I just kind of roll my eyes. But now I think that, he's working himself into where he's going to be an integral part of that offense. So, like you said, the sky's the limit. I mean, with injuries, this team was still able to keep the ball rolling. I mean, you don't have Leonard Fournette on the field, and you have to depend on Ronald Jones. And Ronald Jones has, shout out to Ronald Jones. He's somebody that, a lot of people had given up on after the first couple of games. You saw the drop passes and people, he's got stones for hands and all this other stuff. But again, I think it's familiarity between the quarterback and the running back. I think you're going to continue to see them throw to him more. I think as the season progresses, if he can stay healthy, that he's going to be a huge option for Tom Brady. And what I mean by that is speed and space. What he can do when he gets in that open field, and he's a physical runner. He's pie-faced a few guys onto the ground and just, kept on doing what he's doing. So he's just going to continue to get better. All the hard work, and this is what makes me so excited about Ronald Jones. All the hard work that he's put in over these past couple of seasons is really showing what he's capable of doing, and I hope that he continues to get better. Again, guys, phone number 813-358-8154. Please call in. I want to hear from you. Want to hear what you have to say on this Green Bay Packers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucs with the victory. Want to hear from you. And Zach Jarvis brought up an interesting point. Or I think it may have been Zach Jarvis, that somebody had mentioned that the Bucs should have had 4 interceptions, but they dropped 2.
Antoine Winfield had one right in the breadbasket.
Oh, that's right. That is right. And it hit him right in the hands too. And yeah. But
I think of what the other one was, but that was the one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, here we go. Let's see. All right, you are live on Buck What You Heard. Who we talking with?
Hey, Gene, it's Frank. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Frank G?
Frank G.
Yeah, man.
How's everything going? Good.
Awesome.
So let's hear from you.
Doing good.
let's hear from you on this victory Wednesday. I know we're going to celebrate this until Sunday, so you're good right now.
Of course.
What do you think, man? What did you think of the game? What were your takeaways?
It was a great game, great defensive game. I mean, the defense, they were balling. I mean, they looked like the defense, like the old Buccaneer defense. And
were you expecting this from this defense? I'm going to ask you that.
I was not expecting this kind of a show out against Green Bay. At least I know they have a really good front seven, and this game kind of reminded me of the game from last year, from the championship game, from the Packers and the 49ers, where the 49ers completely shut out the Packers.
You know, I didn't even think about that
game.
It did.
And it reminded me of that game. And I mean, there has to be some kind of comparison in defenses. I mean, last year the 49ers had a really good front seven, and this year the Bucs have a really good front seven, and they completely shut out Rodgers. And I think that's great. That's definitely impressed me on the defensive side.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, you know, and you're a Cali person, right? You're a Cali guy, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I'm from LA. Yeah.
So with the Bucs playing the Raiders, and I know you're familiar with the Raiders. How comfortable are you with this game? I mean, you know, the Raiders have always played the Bucs tough. Well, except for the Super Bowl, but no, I mean, excluding the Super Bowl, the Raiders have normally played them tough.
Right. I'm pretty comfortable with this game. I was really excited. This is one of the games I really wanted to go to Las Vegas to go watch live. But unfortunately, with everything that happened, wasn't going to happen. But I'm pretty excited about this game. It's one of my key games. I circled in the shuttle. I got a lot of buddies here in LA that are Raiders fans, so it's going to be a pretty good game. I feel like a lot of trash talking right now, so it's fine.
So are they pissed off that the Raiders moved to Vegas?
They're not pissed off. They're still
they're down for whatever.
Like a team. Yeah, they're down, but I got a lot of buddies that are Raiders fans, which is, I don't know.
It's got
a lot of jawing back and forth. So
yeah,
it'll be a fun game. It'll be a very fun game.
I tell you what, you hold the advantage because of the Super Bowl, so that's always going to be in your favor.
Right. Right.
Well, hey, Frank, any final thoughts before we let you go, man?
Just final thoughts on the Raiders game.
Or just any in general.
If they could just slow down Darren Waller, I think the Bucs are going to be fine.
Yeah. All right. Hey,
yeah,
Frank.
That's the only concern.
Hey, man, again, you're always welcome to call in. This is a fan show, man, and I appreciate you supporting the show. You're greatly appreciated, man.
Hey, welcome. I really appreciate it. I like calling in. It's when I have a chance, I call in.
All right, man. Well, hey, again, we'll be doing this next week. You're definitely welcome to call back in, bro. You take it easy. All right, that was Frank G, long time listener. He's been following the show for a minute, man. It's good to have people like that call in, and I love getting their perspective on it, man. This is exciting that we're able to do this. Carlton Davis, so he rarely even said Carlton Davis is locking dudes down this year. His presence on this defense has been tremendous. 100%, man. I think this whole secondary, and guys, I don't know if you're like on social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it was Twitter, but remember in the offseason, everybody was complaining about the secondary. Everybody's complaining about what are we going to do with the secondary? And there were a lot of players that we lost to injury. So at the end of the season, you really didn't know who was going to emerge this year as potentially the player to help this team out. And I think what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have put together in the secondary, you guys should give, they deserve all the props in the world. Todd Bowles and what he's been able to put together and getting these guys to play to their strengths. I mean, this is exciting. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. BA teased us last year. He thought they were going to be ready last year. Obviously, they weren't. But ever since pretty much Dean got bullied during that Seahawks game, ever since he's been, riding high. SMD had those 3 interceptions to end last year. And right now, Jamel Dean's our highest graded cornerback on PFF, or one of the highest graded overall cornerbacks on PFF at like a 90-something grade, which is ridiculous. And Carlton Davis is locking up number ones left and right. Pretty much everyone the entire season. I can't think of a number one guy who's had a good game. So SMB is the low end on the totem pole, and he's basically
so let's see. It's been Crybaby Michael Thomas. Who was after him? McCaffrey. I guess that was probably your best catching player on the for the Panthers.
He was guarding like DJ Moore.
DJ Moore got shut down. What is his name? Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy would have been, and then Allen Robinson. And so these are not scrubs. These are not scrub wide receivers. And Devontae Adams. These are not scrub wide receivers that the Bucs are facing, that they faced so far this year. So I mean, that's got to give you some kind of confidence when you look at it from that perspective.
Oh yeah, and he even was going stride with Marquez Valdez-Scantling when he got behind him that one play, and Carlton Davis made a play on the ball. That was the other dropped interception.
That was it. That was it, man. And so that's just exciting to see that. And my guy Sean Castillo, Sean, I'm gonna email you, man. I want you to come on next week, next Wednesday. I'm gonna have my guy Sean Castillo on here, and we're gonna talk about this Goon Squad burger, man. Because you know me, I love to cook. And if you can't already tell, I love to eat, man. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm always posting pictures of food that I made. And, it's therapy for me. Probably I need to come up with another therapy, but that's therapy for me. And, that's kind of what I do. Let's see. Levon Carson says, speaking of defense, what do you guys think they're going to do with Justin Evans? I think, man, I just don't ever see him recovering, man. I'm sorry. I thought potentially he was one of those guys that should have really been a guy to make an impact on this team. And, the way this team is playing, nobody's talking about guys like Derwin James or some of the other players that the Bucs have passed on. And somebody mentioned the draft. I forgot who it was. I'll give you props in a minute. Whoever mentioned the draft, I'll catch you on the end of the show. But what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done with the draft, I would say over the past 3 years, maybe. 3 years. When you look at what they've done, and this is what I've talked about. I've talked about this, for about the past 6 years. You got to get those draft picks. Those draft picks have to stick around because that's how you build. That's how you build your base here. Is you have this is your foundation is the draft, and then you can plug and play some of your free agents, undrafted free agents, and other players to come in and play the roles, and you have everything all set up. So. Shout out to Jason Light. And again, I know there are a lot of people that stopped listening to Buck What You Heard because I would never go in on Jason Light. I swear to God, true story.
Did you see him eyeballing on Twitter? He called out, John Ledyard was calling out basically the defense and stuff in the first quarter, and then Jason Light puts his eyes on him. And then all of a sudden, the defense went off. He did the eyeball emoji.
Yeah, like I'm looking at what you're doing.
Yeah,
John, the guy from Pewter Report.
Yeah,
whatever, that guy. But anyway, enough about him.
About Jason Light. Jason Light on Twitter.
Jason Light caught it. Again, man, Jason Light, just what he's done, man. The dude, he drafts in a vacuum. And he may have drafted a kicker, but he's getting ready. He could potentially be putting a team together that could go to the playoffs now. And that's something a lot of other coaches have not been able to accomplish with what they've had. But I think the recipe's here, man. They just got to put it all together.
Yeah, it's like players. What have you done for me lately? He's done well lately.
So. Yeah, most definitely. Amazement 717, longtime listener. I wanted Winfield Jr. to get that pick. It would have been the only father and son to both pick off Rodgers. His dad picked him off as a Viking. Hell yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers apparently came out after the game on the Pat McAfee show and was talking about how much, his Antoine Winfield Sr. is one of the most respected people he's apparently ever gone against. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess wow, it's been an hour. We've been talking.
It's been an hour, man.
Jeez, man. When you win, it's not so painful to talk about football when you're winning. Hey, Sean Castillo, man, I'm gonna email you, bro. We're gonna get together. I'll drop my number, man. I really want to talk to this guy here, and we're gonna have him on. If you haven't ever heard of the Goom Squad Burger, that's Pat Donovan, my guy Pat Donovan, from iHeartRadio. He comes on occasionally. I'm trying to get him on as well. We've got this burger called the Goon Squad Burger. I've seen pictures of it. It is beautiful. It's to die for. So. Yeah, look it up, man. See, because me, I love cooking, I love eating, so it's one of those things. This is a match made in heaven. But again, yeah, that's just that's something to kind of look forward to. And I always get off thoughts here. But the game that I'm really looking forward to is the Giants game. The Giants game is one. Oh, okay, here we go. We got one more caller. We got one more caller before we roll out of here.
Let's do it.
Okay, you are live on Buck What You Heard. Who am I talking with?
You know who it is? Dodgers up 1-0, baby. What's going on?
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't come on here.
Hey,
don't come on here talking reckless, man. You can't do that.
Hey, my dad already cussed me out after the Braves. I say one thing about Atlanta Braves. They have the best drift in baseball. That's all I got to say. How you fellas doing, man?
Good, man. So let's get your thoughts on the game. I know that you called in and talked to us on. I know you called in and we talked a little bit about the game. So I want to know what do you think, man? I mean, how do you feel about this game that they had, and where does it rank for you as the Bucs have played?
I think this team exposed Aaron Rodgers, not because of talent, but the lack of intangibles and leadership, because he didn't go down swinging. And they kind of did what Nick Saban said, like when they went down to LSU about 12 years ago, he said, dominate the man in front of you and make his ass quit. That's what they did to the Packers.
Oh, yeah, they did a Cam Newton.
And I've been waiting. Yeah, I've been waiting to watch this team do this for over 10 years. To make someone quit and just beat them down physically. And Aaron Rodgers didn't have the leadership and tangible. But once he threw that second pick, he started checking down a lot, making sure he didn't throw a third one. But when the game was going away, the team needed you to let it rip. Because remember that Chargers game, Brady had no choice but to let it rip.
Yep.
For them to come back in, pick or pick. Damn, throwing the pitch. You just got to let it rip.
That's right.
And that's what. Yeah, that's why I don't go crazy over pitch, because sometimes you just gotta let it rip.
Yeah,
and that right there, and that team did well defensively as well. They dominated defensively in the running game, and they did it so Brady doesn't have to throw the ball 35, 40 times. That's the system. That's formula to the thing winning. You dominate on the ground, you dominate in the trenches, and your quarterback just manage the game well, and you take it from there.
So talking about the running game, how do you feel about what Ronald Jones has done with the absence of a Leonard Fournette?
I'm pleasantly surprised at how good Rojo has turned out, and I like the fact that he's running hard. He is running hard, and let's be honest here, Leonard Fournette has no choice but to play nice, even though he may not be feeling it inside. Guys, let's be honest. He probably thought, man, I got this. I've seen Rojo these past 2 years. I got this spot. Let's be honest here now. If Dalvin Cook was on his team, he probably wouldn't have come. Brady or no Brady. Let's just be honest here. But he has no choice but to play nice. And I'm glad that Bruce Arians. Now, I'm not the biggest Bruce Arians fan. I don't think he's that good. But the one thing that I did like was day one, Rojo's our guy. They signed Leonard Fournette. Rojo's our number one. Clear, cut, boom, done. Locker room knows it. Rojo knows it. Leonard knows it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I give him credit on right there. And I'm pleasantly surprised by Rojo. And I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you've followed me and you've listened to me, I've been singing his praises. And that's because I like a story like this where a man goes out and he has a horrible season under a horrible coach, and he goes out and he gets better and he gets better and he gets better. And then he comes in the next year under a new coach and he continues to get better. But at the end of the day, the next off season where he could be at home chilling, he could be out vacationing or whatever. This guy is grinding it out, only trying to get better. And that's what you want in your running back.
You know what? And I'll say his name, Dirk Cutter. He does not, and you notice, to me, this is why I give Arians credit on. Because I think he's more like the motivational guy, and I think the old guy was that, hey, he gets the players thinking, believing that he believes in them.
Right.
The players, pretty much every position, I don't think they ever believe that Dirk Cutter believes in them. And that goes a long way, especially those guys being so young at the time.
Yeah.
The Bucs always had a young team, and that would hurt. I don't care how good, like the quarterback, running back, receiver. Those guys were young, and the coach pretty much made decisions where he didn't believe in them.
Yeah.
And pretty much said it and didn't go a long way. Because my thing is this: Rojo was a rookie. You was a 5-11 team. What the hell does it hurt just throwing him out there to see what he got?
Your ass gonna get fired you're about to get fired anyway, so
yeah.
You might as well just say, what the hell, put him out there, let's see what he can do. But no, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. But again, the end result, what we're seeing from him is super exciting. KB, what do you think, man?
It is.
Oh, I mean, even when Rojo has had his struggles, one thing that's never stopped were his feet. And that's the kind of stuff you can appreciate. The dude this offseason went to Arizona and traded with a specific running back coach who is obviously his work has paid off. Granted, his hands could be better. Great,
shout out to Coach Neal if you're watching, brother.
Coach Neal. Yeah. I mean, yes, there's still some things he can improve on, but what he has done since that first year where he definitely looked lost. And I've read stories about the mental aspect.
Yeah, Jenna Lane dropped that story.
Yeah, from the West Coast kid to coming to live in Florida, being that far away from family and all that stuff for a 20-year-old is hard. So fast forward 3 years and you've seen his confidence just grow each and every year.
Mm-hmm.
As T's Mini saying, it's BA at least installing that confidence. We can nitpick other things, but the confidence he instills in his players and the belief that the players show for him and then, want to work for him every day is, that's the kind of stuff that's just going to pay off in the end.
Yeah. And it shows just how valuable a coach is. When you look at the asshole coaches we've had after Gruden, and I can't really say I can't say Raheem Morris because he did get a double-digit victory, double-digit wins. Only coach to do that since John Gruden was here. And
Potter got 10-6, right?
No. 9 and whatever he got.
Oh, it was not. Yeah, 9-7.
Yeah. But just when I look at this coach and what he's doing, and like you said, instilling confidence and stuff, I may question some of his play calling, but what he's done, bringing in all these coaches and everybody's working with these players and how quickly they've all come together. I mean, like I said, that game on Sunday, you saw communication was flawless. Everybody was, if you go back and watch, everybody was focused on their assignment. This is what I've got to do. I'm not worried about what this guy's doing. We're going to all work together, but I'm worried about what I was assigned to do. This is what I need to be getting done right here. And I don't know if you remember the Chicago Bears game with Mike Smith was the head coach and everybody was running in quicksand. Nobody knew what the hell they needed to do. Nobody had a clue. And again, it just kind of goes back to how important coaching is. And, and being a teacher, like what KB is talking about here, having the ability to be that teacher, having the ability to instill confidence like you're talking about. So, again, I hope they can keep this train rolling.
You know what, Gene? And one thing about, Rojo, many players on this Bucs team, young players good with talent who aren't here anymore, who's still here. The one thing I tell people all the time, what goes unsaid is, these guys have talent, but they still have to be taught the pro game.
Right.
The nuances of the pro game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one underrated thing, because we had young players come through this team who are very talented and all different positions. And you're like, why didn't he get it together? And you see the coaches, and then you see some of these other players who may come through other teams. You're like, they aren't more talented than these guys. But you see the teaching go on, teaching them the nuances of the game.
Yeah.
And that is something that I think that goes unsaid, that it goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
Because anyone can run.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
what about the nuances?
yeah. I mean, look at Jeremy McMuffin over in Tennessee. I
Yeah.
remember when he was here and they were talking about this guy going to take Doug Martin's spot and this guy's going to be your number one running back and all this other stuff. And his attitude was all jacked up, but now he's over in Tennessee and they're able to use him. And I think he's finally humbled himself to a point where he's actually, he's found a team that he can work with and they're teaching him, and he's running behind probably one of the best running backs that we've seen in a long time. And, he's doing well there. So, again, it's just that important to get to the right situation in order to get the best out of things.
Yeah. And I'll say this before I run. Thanks for taking my call. One, the secret to the ball, I think Kenny's had this on his Twitter. All you got to do is do a Belichick did, double team Carr's check down receiver, make him let it rip. That's all you got to do. But
check down Derek.
To compete against this team, the Bucs, it may sound simple, but it's easier than it may. It's harder than it seems. Whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to have against this blitzing attacking defense. You must have a quarterback who can move and let it rip, and not afraid to let it rip.
Yeah.
And that's why, the Herberts gave them trouble, because he let it rip. Even Nick Foles, he let it rip.
Yeah.
Even though it was in Lake Michigan when he threw it, but he still let it rip. And that's the thing. And also, if you don't get pressure on Brady, you lose the game.
Yep.
You get pressure on Brady, you win the game. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
It ain't knocking the plan. That's just how it is. And it's easier said than done, because to get that going, it not that many teams in this league to get pressure with four consistently.
Yeah.
And I just think, and the Raiders don't have a good enough defense to slow this team down this week.
They can't stop the run. They're having problems with the run.
And they don't have the quarterback to challenge this defense deep in one-on-one coverage against the blitz, because he is unwilling to let it rip. Derek Carr's a nice, swell guy. If I had a daughter, he could marry my daughter. Well, let's be honest here. He's that guy in the club where the hot girl is talking to him, vibing with him, but he's scared to ask the phone number because he's scared he's going to throw a pick. 70% completion. Hey, that 70% completion is great and all, but when he's throwing 5 yards to the damn air, what good is it?
Exactly.
And my last thing is, how many Raiders, we all know Raiders fans, they want him gone because of that reason, not letting it rip. Because I don't care about the completion percentage. You got to let it rip.
I wouldn't want to see Marcus Mariota, man. I'm sorry. I'd rather deal with Derek Carr.
And that's a damn shame, too. And that's the problem right there. You're like, damn, what's our option? That's a problem.
Bro, they better be. Hey, what is better the devil you know than the devil you don't know? Because I'm telling you what, I don't want Marcus Mariota in there, because I'm telling you, it's just going to take one hit. And he fold his ass up like a chair, and then you're on to something else.
And he's making more than Cam Newton and you know who. How? Yep. I don't know. Combine. Yeah. And he doesn't even have 1/5 of the talent. And it just shows you how crazy it is. And I think John Gruden did all over again. He's like, why the hell do we give this guy $8 million?
Trade for Nathan Peterman too.
Yeah, they had Nate Peterman there too. Well,
they traded for him. Draft capital for him.
Yeah.
But hey, I will say you guys have a good one, man. I just want to check in on you guys. But hey, y'all have a good one, man. I really enjoy listening to you too, man. You guys always bring it, man. And I like the hot take media. You don't talk about the Dallas Cowboys half the damn show. They suck. Get Bayless. I'm sorry. It's over.
I don't know that team. Never heard of them.
All right, man.
Peace, guys.
All right, take it easy. That was T. Smitty, man. That was great, man. That's what it's all about. I can't believe we've been talking as long as we have, bro. So I know you got other things to do, and I'm sure
we'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah, we will definitely be on tomorrow on Bucs Report. And we're going to be breaking down the Raiders game. We'll be talking more about the Raiders game. I think we got the Green Bay Packers game out of our system a little bit. We talk about a little bit of both. And we're going to be joined by special guest Evan Old Man Winter. I know you've seen him on here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's right. So that's pretty much it for us. again, guys, you're always, I love the comments. And if there's something you don't agree with, hit me up in the comments, hit me up on my DMs. I'll get you on here. Let's talk about it, because you know what? I think it's important. Everybody has their own voice to say what you need to say, man. And I would love to hear from you guys. So again, thanks a lot. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And again, check us out tomorrow. We will be on Bucs Report. So, you know, talking about the same thing, a little bit different things, some other things. And we're going to have some callers, and, you know, we're going to have some fun with this. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I'm out. And remember, Buck what you heard.